Whenever I'm interviewing somebody for any role in my company, there's really one main thing that I'm trying to unpack first and foremost. Like the first and most important thing to me. And that is I'm trying to understand if this person, this candidate, is more of a delegator or more of a doer. And if they're more of a delegator, they can walk out the door. Like that's it, full stop. In my organization, I own a cleaning company, 1,000 cleaners, we're multinational, trying to get to 2,500. We here only hire doers. Let me explain what I mean by a doer. A doer is somebody, doesn't matter what level you're at, when shit hits the fan, when there's a deadline, when something needs to be done that you are exceptional at and have an unfair advantage on, you roll your sleeves up and you get your hands dirty. You put your hands in the mud. That is really the first thing I'm trying to understand when I'm interviewing somebody. Will they do that work, or are they going to sit behind the desk with their feet up and tell their team to do it? Because in this company, I don't care how big we get. Right now, 1,000 cleaners is pretty large. Like we're probably a very good sized mid-market company, as I call it. Like there's SMB, mid-market, enterprise. We're in like a nice sweet spot of like a medium to large kind of mid-market. When we get this company to being an enterprise company, you can bet dollars to donuts, I'm not hiring anybody who's a delegator. Why I view that as super important, like we built this business, as I'm sure many service businesses have, on speed to response is really one of the biggest ones. Speed to lead, speed to response, speed to resolution, just speed, just getting things done quickly. Speed gets slowed down when things have to move down different levels, when there are parts in the chain that are just there to like pass a message along. It is a waste. Like any person or process that like slows a process down is irrelevant and redundant, frankly. Like you don't need that. In this company, we keep this structure as flat as possible so that the top can get to the bottom quickly and the bottom can come to the top quickly, because then stuff flows more freely. I think that is one of the most invaluable things. And look, it wasn't always this way. When we were, I know my brother and I, we talk about this often. Like when we were early on in our career, let's go back maybe a decade or so. Well, actually, when we started this company, it's been about 16 years full time. My brother and I started at the same time, even though I'm just a couple years older. We started at the same time. Working on that is awesome. Like we're different, but we're similar. Like we understand the business holistically the same way. I am more clearly sales and marketing and even operations focused. Like I like being out there, even though I'm a bit introverted. I like being out with the people, being out in the field. My brother's more inside the office, behind the scenes. Finance, admin, bidding, budgeting, bargaining, all that stuff. He's a wizard with numbers. Like I'm so grateful I have him here. I could not do what he does with the numbers. Our sister looks after it entirely and more like people ops and stuff like that. She kind of project management and is, again, probably the most hardworking of all of us and super talented. But the point here is that when we were early in our career, we thought, okay, we need to get to the next level. We were like a big SMB company, good size, 300 staff when we started. And we thought, we need to professionalize the business. We would go looking for people that are like professional managers, even though we didn't know that at the time. We thought like an exec or a big title at a bigger company will get bigger. Like they're going to bring the book of business, they're going to bring the processes, they're going to bring all the strategy and vision and like hard work and really steer this company in the right direction. We would even have people approach us from like competitors and peers who saw like what we were building and saw, there's a big opportunity here with impact. I mean that wholeheartedly. Like I still remember those conversations we had. A lot of those people, like they did say at that time, like there's a massive opportunity in front of you. We would love to work for you. But our eyes would light up. And we think, wow, if we just could have the money to pay this person, like we're going to grow and we're going to get to like, 100 million and beyond. And, it took a while. Like we have to like pause and think for a while. And at times we got really close. Even sometimes we made offers. I think we just started to catch on, like, what are we doing here? If our father, who had no education, could come in here in his like 30s when he started and build this business, my brother and I were like, we don't think we're the smartest guys in the room, but like, I'm sure we can figure this out. We're more educated than our father was. We learned from our father, who was an exceptional father and entrepreneur. So I'm like, why do we need these people? But then you go back, you're like, oh, they're talking about these big numbers. Maybe we can hire them. And then we just realized, like, we made a couple hires and quickly realized that these people are all the same. And they all bring different skills. And there's probably some that are the outliers, but the overwhelming majority in this bucket I view as like the old school professional managers are all the same. They put their time in, they climb the ranks, and they've earned the status and credibility in the industry. But at that level, they don't want to do the work. They want to sit behind a desk and kick their feet up and have a team and have their nice things, go to lunches, check out at 3, go play their golf. And that's how they want to run the business and work on strategy. I promise you, if this is something that you are considering doing, it is not worth your money. You're better off doing it yourself. Now, I'm not saying don't hire for your skill gaps. Like you should hire people for your skill gaps, but do not go find the people that are at the mountaintop already, that are near retirement, that don't want to go back into the trenches. This is why when we're interviewing people, like, well, one, we can kind of see now, it's easy to identify these professional managers. Like we weed them out really quickly. But a lot of our questions early on in the screening process are to understand, again, how they respond and react and what their day-to-day looks like, what they spend their time on, what they enjoy doing. Number two, another part of it is like coachability. And there's a bit of an adjacent to it, but coachability and like curiosity. A lot of people who've gotten this point as well have done it a certain way. If you're hiring someone and they think their way is the only way or the right way, you should run. Like that is not necessarily going to be indicative of a professional delegator, but more than likely it's a subset of that. If somebody only wants to do it their way, they're going to enforce their way. They're going to delegate and push out their way of doing it. They may do it and be in the weeds with them, but more than likely somebody is that dead set that they're right and it's their way and they're moving up to like a senior position, odds are they're going to be a delegator. Point here is when we're interviewing, like I really don't care what's on the resume. Like I see the companies who stopped that, great. I see you stayed at the companies for a long amount of time, great. You know, I see some of the words that I like to see, great. But I've interviewed a lot of people today where our team is growing rather quickly. Like I've made, I don't know, a handful of hires, high level hires this year alone, this calendar year, some of our highest level hires in the company history actually. And so I'm seeing a lot of candidates. Biggest thing that I weed out right away is if I can see someone that's going to sit there and just like push work down. I don't want that. We've DQ'd people, even though we didn't discover it early on in the process. We kind of discovered it later on. You can ask enough questions. You can find out what they're going to do. You can even give people case studies and see how they'll handle it. We do that. We give people take home assignments before their kind of final interview and you can suss it out. But that is the most important thing for you to figure out because you as the owner, whether you want to scale and work really hard or you want to sit back and collect, your dividend checks and have the business run. I don't think you should be doing this. I think you should be scaling and growing. But either way, you naturally over time want to do less work and delegate. So why would you hire someone who's going to delegate and then you're delegate? Like what's the point? You have redundant roles. In this business, as you're scaling, like I always say, they're very tight. You can't just afford to bring in a bunch of people that are going to tell other people what to do. Bring in people that are going to get in the weeds. Our VP of Ops in the summer heat at some of our biggest outdoor stadiums that we do and is in there at the front lines with our staff. That to me, one, just demonstrates how invaluable and rare she is. But think about the culture that sets. I mean, my brother and I were at the FIFA, the World Cup we cleaned. And like my brother was up in the stands picking up garbage. He's a vice president. Like he owns the business. He doesn't have to do that. It goes such a long way to like one, people respecting you. Two, establishing a culture where everyone understands that nobody's bigger than the work. Because in this business, we're doing dirty work all day. I think if you want to build a successful cleaning company, like you just have to really believe it. We preach it all the time. We want doers, not delegators. Again, that's not going to change. People always say, there's the book, what got you here won't get you there. Like, you got to change, you got to professionalize. That's we can stay the same way, and I guarantee you we'll get to our goal of 2,500 cleaners thinking this way, staying scrappy and having like 3-4 levels between the president and like the more kind of junior office employee. Like that's all it should be. With technology today too, how much bandwidth you can do, how much work you can take back and pull into your orbit. Yeah, you don't need a bunch of levels of management. So also for the FMs out there, like some people I've heard in the past, not recently actually, but sometimes you hear, a company will look at us like a big commercial real estate company might say, oh, you guys don't have a bunch of executives, like, you're a small company. Newsflash. That all that overhead for the executives it comes out of something. It comes out of your pocket at the end of the day. One way or another, you're paying for that overhead. In my experience, most of these executives, I'm not going to say all, but most on the sales side, ops side, the VP level, like they're not doing the work. Like I described this group here, they are sitting behind a desk. They are just sending out marching orders. They are still maybe fostering their relationships, but they're just going to lunches all day and hanging out, eating and drinking. So that comes out of someone's budget. I'm not willing to spend that money. Our executive team is myself, my brother, my sister, cleaning ops, and our VP of business operations. It's 5 people. We don't have C-suite. We have presidents and VPs, and then everything else is below it. And all of them have direct access to myself as the president and our executives. We operate very flat. So if you want to scale a cleaning company, I encourage you, doesn't matter what stage you're at, don't get excited by big titles. Don't get excited by someone who comes from a big company. Really just find people that fill the gaps that you have. And they could be from other industries as well. Like we hire a lot of people from outside industries. In fact, all our recent hires are not from the cleaning world. Our last 4 hires have 0 cleaning experience and have all performed exceptionally well. You fill your gaps is okay. And if you're going to hire a senior role, I would recommend going outside the industry because a lot of bad habits in the cleaning industry. That's it. Hire doers, not delegators. If you like this video, subscribe, like, share, send it to your friends who have cleaning companies and hire delegators. I know I have some because they've asked me my advice and I told them this advice previously. I've told many of them and they all inevitably call me 6 months later and say, you were right. Shouldn't have done it. Should have done it myself. It's true. Again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I've learned and lived this and I've experienced it. I see it every day, everywhere. Follow my Substack. I'll see you later. Take care.